The number one milestone to hit by the age 45. $0 in debt except your home mortgage. By 45, you want all consumer debt to be gone or at least be very close to it. I know, this could sound harsh, but I have a very strong opinion about debt. A lot of people like to talk about debt as this fancy tool that can give you additional leverage. A smart tool to really supercharge your path to wealth. However, I just do not agree. There are just too many things that can go wrong with debt. The analogy I like to use with debt is to think of it like fire. Controlled, contained, and used for a specific purpose, it can serve you. A mortgage that allows you to buy a house. A student loan that allows you to complete a competitive degree. But beyond that, it has the potential to spread beyond your control, consuming the very wealth you worked so hard to build. Think of it this way. Would you leave your stove on after you finished cooking? Of course not. You use it for its purpose and then you turn it off. Debt deserves the same discipline. Use it for a specific function, and the moment that function is complete, turn it off. Additionally, you also have to recognize that your 40s is also a decade when multiple responsibilities converge from every direction. I know this one personally because I feel it every single day. Your kids are getting older. Your parents are aging. The demands on your career and your income are significant, and they all come at once. You don't need debt sitting on top, adding additional financial and emotional stress. This milestone is straightforward. By the time you get to your mid-40s, you want to have no debt apart from your home mortgage. No consumer debt, no credit card balances, no student loans, no car loans. The number 2 milestone to hit by the age 45. When it comes to your net worth, you want to hit the PAW target. So what is the PAW target? Let me explain. PAW stands for Prodigious Accumulator of Wealth. It comes from Thomas Stanley, the author of The Millionaire Next Door, one of the most comprehensive studies ever conducted on how Americans actually build wealth. Stanley spent decades studying thousands of households across every income level, and what he found was that the people who quietly accumulated the most wealth were not necessarily the highest earners. They were the most intentional. His formula is simple. Take your age, multiply it by your annual gross income, and divide by 10. That is your minimum net worth target. For a 45-year-old earning $100,000 a year, that number is $450,000. For someone earning $200,000, it is $900,000. For someone earning $300,000, it is $1.35 million. Stanley called people who hit this threshold prodigious accumulators of wealth, PAW. And to better understand what that actually means, let's understand what he was contrasting it with. In his research, Stanley identified 2 types of people: the PAW, the prodigious accumulator of wealth, and the UAW, the under-accumulative wealth. And the difference between the two had almost nothing to do with income. The UAW can be someone who looks wealthy on the surface. The marketing executive earning $500,000 a year. He drives the right car, lives in the right neighborhood, and wears the right watch. So on the surface, everything signals success. But underneath, the net worth is surprisingly small because everything that came in went right back out. High income but low wealth. They under-accumulated wealth despite having a high income. Stanley found this pattern everywhere, and it was most common among high earners who felt that a rising income entitled them to a rising lifestyle. The PAW, in contrast, is someone who, regardless of their income, lives below their means. They invest consistently and quietly year after year. On the surface, they might not have the fancy car, the fancy house, or the fancy watch. But over time, because the gap between what comes in and what goes out compounds, what eventually accumulates is actual wealth. They prodigiously accumulated wealth. At 45, in your peak earning years, this distinction matters more than ever. Because the temptation to spend in proportion to what you earn is never stronger than right now. The house, the cars, the vacations that feel justified after 2 decades of hard work. They're not wrong, but you have to recognize that if you don't control them, they will control you. Because every dollar you spend on lifestyle in your 40s is a dollar that is not compounding for the next 20 years. Bottom line, the PAW target is a great milestone to check to see if your behaviors match your income, and more importantly, if you're in the pathway to building great wealth. Before we continue, you probably noticed that we're covering quite a bit here. And I want to make sure you actually walk away with something tangible from this video, not just a mental note that fades tomorrow. So I put together a free PDF guide that summarizes everything we're covering today. All 7 milestones, the key numbers, the PAW formula, the different insurance protections. Everything in one clean reference you can save, share, or come back to whenever you need it. If you want to download it, the link is in the description below. It is completely free, no catch, just my gift to you for spending your precious time with me today. The number 3 milestone to hit by the age 45. When it comes to your investments, You want to have an investment strategy that is not only crystal clear, but one you completely understand. There's a question that I ask that tells me almost everything I need to know about where someone stands with their investments. Can you describe your investment strategy for me? In plain English, without jargon? Not the name of your funds, not the story of how you selected them. In just a few sentences using plain language, what do you own, what it is costing you, and why you own it? And unfortunately, the truth is that most people cannot answer that question. Not because they're not smart, but because life is so darn busy. Most started contributing to their 401k 15 years ago, made some selections during a 20-minute enrollment session, and never looked at it again. The money kept going in, the balance kept growing, and they reasonably assumed that meant everything was fine. But at 45, with a portfolio that has been growing for 2 decades, the investment itself deserves a look. Because the allocation you blindly selected at 30 may not be appropriate for your life stage today. Additionally, the fees embedded in the funds you chose without knowing may have been compounding against you just as quietly as the market was compounding for you. This milestone is really about understanding. When it comes to investing, most of us do not need a complex, fancy-sounding strategy. We need a strategy that we actually understand. One that reflects our risk profile, one that we have chosen deliberately, and most importantly, one that we could explain to someone else without anyone's help. Let me give you a few tips to start this process. 1. Log into every account that you own. Your 401k, your IRA, your brokerage account, every retirement account that has accumulated over the years, and take comprehensive inventory. If you work with a financial advisor, schedule a call and ask them to walk you through everything that is in your portfolio. 2. Once you have a good inventory, dissect what you own. For every fund you own, ask these questions. What is this fund actually investing in? What is the expense ratio? And how does that translate to actual dollars? And the rationale. Why is this fund in your portfolio? 3. This is the most important part of the process. Educate yourself, especially if what you're looking at doesn't make much sense to you. Regardless of whether you use a financial advisor or not, I'm a firm believer that everyone needs to have a basic understanding of investing. Topics such as index fund versus actively managed funds, asset allocation, about how fees compound over time. Because only then can you develop a clear investment strategy that not only you understand, but that you feel confident in. And if all this educating yourself feels overwhelming and you don't want to do it alone, that is exactly why I created the Financial Tortoise community, a private membership community of serious, like-minded professionals building wealth the slow and steady way together. Courses, live Q&As, and direct access to me via dedicated one-on-ones. Enrollment is limited and only opens a few times a year. So head over to financialtortoise.com/community to join the waitlist and get priority access when doors open. The number 4 milestone to hit by the age 45. Have 12 months of emergency fund in an easily accessible account. Think about what your financial life actually looks like at 45 compared to what it looked like at 25. At 25, you had fewer assets and fewer dependents, which meant fewer things that could break and fewer people who depended on your money. But now, you have so much more. You likely have a home now, and homes require maintenance, and maintenance does not schedule itself around convenient times. You likely have multiple cars. 2 vehicles mean 2 sets of tires, 2 sets of brakes, 2 engines that can surprise you on a Tuesday morning. You also probably have children, many children for some of you, who need you constantly. And you have parents who are aging, and some of them will need you, financially and emotionally, at a moment you cannot predict and cannot control. And here's another important part, specifically around where most of your wealth is at. At 45, most of your wealth is likely locked in assets that are not easy to access, or at least without some cost or penalty. Money that is within your tax advantage accounts, your 401ks, or your Roth IRA cannot be touched without penalty. And if you have equity within your home, you can't easily access that without some form of home equity loan, or at the extreme, selling it. This is why for me personally, I feel like the standard emergency fund at 45 is not 3 months or even 6 months. It should be close to 12. And where is the best place to hold them? 2 options. The first option is a high-yield savings account. Most major online banks offer competitive rates. The money is FDIC insured up to $250,000, and it is easily accessible. For most people, this is probably the simplest and the most practical place to keep an emergency fund. The second option, if you prefer to keep your cash within your existing investment firm, is a money market fund. Vanguard's VMFXX, Fidelity's SPAXX, Schwab's SWVXX. These funds invest in mostly short-term US government securities and currently offer yields comparable to high-yield savings accounts. They're not FDIC insured, but they invest in US Treasury obligations, which carry their own form of government backing. They're accessible usually within 1 or 2 business days and settle quickly. The question at 45 is not whether an emergency will come. It is when it will come, and more importantly, if you'll be ready when it does. So keep enough cash and keep them accessible. The number 5 milestone to hit by the age 45. Achieve a 800 plus credit score. An excellent credit score is a must at this life stage, and you want to have it before you need it. A mortgage refinance when rates drop. Access to the best premium credit cards. Negotiating lower premiums. You may never use it, but the day you need it and don't have it is not the day you want to find out. And the 800 plus score at 45 is not a stretch. It is what 2 decades of responsible credit use should look like. So if you're not there yet, how to get there or stay there? 5 things. Pay on time, every time. Payment history is the single largest factor in your credit score, accounting for 35% of the calculation. One missed payment can linger on your report for years. Keep your credit utilization below 10%. Most people know the 30% rule, but the scores that consistently clear 800 tend to live below 10%. If your credit limit is $20,000, keep the balance under $2,000 before your statement closes. Be careful about closing old accounts. Length of credit history matters, and a closed account shrinks your average. If you want to clean up unused cards, do it slowly over a period of time. Limit hard inquiries. Every time you apply for new credit, it costs you a small number of points. Multiple applications in a short window compound that cost. So be intentional about when and why you apply. And check your report regularly. According to the Federal Trade Commission, 1 in 5 Americans has an error on their credit report. You can use the free report, or my personal favorite is via Credit Karma. Bottom line, at 45, with 2 decades of credit history behind you, an 800 plus score is within reach, as long as you're paying attention and you're being intentional about it. Number 6 milestone to hit by age 45. Make sure you have essential insurance coverage. A study published in the American Journal of Public Health found that more than 2/3 of personal bankruptcies in the United States are tied to medical issues. Not to reckless spending, not to bad investments, to medical events. An unexpected diagnosis, an unfortunate accident, or a health crisis no one planned for and no one saw coming. These were not people who had ignored their finances. Many of them had retirement accounts, mortgages, careers they had spent years developing. But one event erased it. And we don't want this to be you. So by 45, in my perspective, here are 4 baseline protections that need to be in place. Health insurance. And the right plan depends entirely on your family's specific situation. If you and your family are relatively healthy with minimal recurring medical needs, a high deductible health plan paired with a health savings account can be a smart choice. But if you have family members with ongoing conditions, make sure your plan provides the appropriate coverage your family needs. Auto insurance. And here the most important word is liability. You may have the cash to replace your car if something happens to it. What you cannot always predict is what kind of liability you're exposed to if something happens to someone else. An accident, a lawsuit, a judgment that exceeds your coverage. That is the real danger you're protecting against. Homeowners insurance, reviewed for the specific risk of where you actually live. If you're in a fire-prone area, make sure you have fire coverage. If you're in a flood zone, the same. Term life insurance, in an amount large enough that if something happened to you tomorrow, your family would continue to be taken care of. Mortgage payments, education costs, just overall living expenses. These 4 are the foundation. Depending on your situation though, if you're self-employed, if your income will be difficult or impossible to replace, if you have significant liability exposure in your profession, disability insurance may belong on this list as well. Number 7 milestone to hit by the age 45. Have a complete estate plan. When my wife and I neared our 40s, we did something we have been putting off for years. We sat down with an estate lawyer and put together a complete estate plan. A trust, a will, powers of attorney, healthcare directives, updated beneficiary designations across every account we owned. It wasn't prompted by a health scare or a death in the family, though we have seen enough of those by then to understand what happens to families who are left without documentation. It was prompted by looking at our kids and admitting we just have no idea what the future holds, and it is our responsibility to prepare as much as possible. According to a 2025 study by Trust and Will, 55% of Americans have no estate plan, and the age group with the lowest participation rate is not the young. It is the 35 to 54 cohort, the people with mortgages, children, retirement accounts, and 2 decades of accumulated assets, the exact group for whom the absence of a plan causes the most damage. And here's what that absence can look like. If you die without a will, a court gets to distribute your assets according to a formula written by a legislator that knows nothing about you, your family, or your wishes. If you have minor children, a judge who has never met them decides who raises them. Crazy, right? So here are 4 estate-related documents every 45-year-old should have in place. 1. A last will and testament. 2. A durable power of attorney designated someone to manage your finances if you're incapacitated. 3. A healthcare directive specifying your medical wishes. And 4. Updated beneficiary designations on every retirement account, life insurance policy, and financial accounts that allow it. And if you want to take it a step further, and if you have meaningful assets and young children, consider a living trust. This is what my wife and I did. A trust allows your assets to pass directly to your beneficiaries without going through probate court, meaning less time, less cost, and less complexity if something was to happen to you. Additionally, the process of establishing a revocable living trust typically includes all the documents listed above as part of the same engagement. The reason most people have not done this is the same reason my wife and I waited. Sitting down to write a will feels weird. It is facing our death, and I'll be the first one to admit it, that is uncomfortable. A world without Mr. Financial Tortoise? Who can fill the shoes of the greatest hairline on the internet? But jokes aside, the discomfort of writing it is nothing compared to the chaos of not having one. Thank you guys for watching the theme of this decade and everything it demands. Please check out my video here on why I believe 40s are your best wealth building decade yet. Until next time, all the best.